Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel and to episode 23 of the weekly recap and upcoming weekly preview. And this next week is going to be basically all about two huge events. We have midterms on Tuesday night here in the US. That, of course, is going to affect the markets and the price action quite a bit. And then on Thursday morning, we have the CPI report also here in the US, and that will be very interesting as well. I feel that one of those will be bullish and the other one will be bearish. So let me explain. I think that from the data that we see right now, the Republicans are most likely going to win the House and the Senate, and the market will most likely react positively to that. So I do feel that we will see a very bullish, not just environment for crypto, but for all the traditional markets as well. I think in the early part of the week, and then maybe Wednesday close of the traditional markets, which is 3 p.m. Central Time. Then maybe you might start seeing a little bit of a sell-off because I think everyone's going to be pretty worried about the CPI report on Thursday morning. The Atlanta Fed and the Cleveland Fed have already kind of leaked out a little bit of info stating that they expect the CPI report to come in a little hot. So, of course, that's going to put Powell in a spot where, the market will react to what they think, how they think that Powell will react. And I think Powell has made it very, very clear. I don't know why everyone keeps fighting him. They keep trying to kind of front run what he's going to do. He's been pretty transparent. He's going to basically keep tightening until something breaks. And he said that all along, and he literally said it. He verbalized it in the last FOMC press conference during the Q&A. He basically told us the blueprint as investors what to do. And it's pretty simple. You wait. You're patient. And our time will come. But he's basically stating, I am going to happily over tighten. I will happily break something. And when that happens, we have the tools to deal with it, i.e. turn on the printer, i.e. Adding inorganic liquidity to these markets. So as investors, just stop trying to front run him. I know half of crypto Twitter's trying to do so. They were calling for a pivot, which is ridiculous. We'll first get a pause. I don't know when the pause will happen, or a slowdown, and then we'll get a pivot in time, but we're not going to have a pivot anytime soon. So unless it's something really, really breaks, and that's the case, we will know, and we can then pivot as investors. But right now, I think the key piece is to wait and be patient. And there's a lot to view as far as the charts and price action. So let's get into all that. All right, and one piece of housekeeping to go over. If you are looking to leverage trade or short crypto, go check out Bitget. I am an affiliate for Bitget, and they have a really cool thing going on where you can get $15 for just signing up, $50 deposit or more, and a whole lot more in rewards that you can check out. So just check out my link below, and you'll see all the information about it. And it's a great way to support the channel. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Couple of things that I did want to cover. Don't want to scare people, but we got to talk about this. Two things that could create some headwinds in the weeks to come. This is the first one. This is a great tweet by Kobayashi Letter, and basically the VIX is down 15 straight days despite SPX being down sharply, right? And basically what they're saying is that, how is the VIX still so low? And it's not gonna stay like this forever, right? So it's been really weird to see that the VIX has not been going nuts. And if we look at the VIX real quick, it is really, really low. Oh, I'm on the 1 hour. That's silly. Okay, so it has been really, really, really low. Look how low it is down here. It's just looking like it's going to pop sometime soon. I mean, right now it's still like catching a falling knife, but it's not going to stay like this, especially with the macro being where it is. So it's been really good for all crypto markets. Maybe not so much for the NASDAQ because it's been getting hammered, but it's been really good for crypto that you haven't seen the VIX do anything, right? Because when the VIX starts pumping and then the DXY starts pumping at the same time, that almost always spells trouble. But DXY has been dumping. So again, just because the DXY goes down doesn't necessarily mean that BTC goes up. More times than not, there is that kind of relationship, but not always. And it's because the VIX has a lot to do with that. But, as far as the Dixie, I mean, it could go down all the way down here to like a buck. I think it was down here, right? Yeah, like around right here to like a $107.73. And if it pivots from there and starts trending upwards again, then it would structurally it would be just fine. And I'm not saying it's going to for sure happen, but if you do look at it from the weekly, it's kind of hard to see a scenario where this thing doesn't look like it wants to get back to 120. So, unfortunately, the DXY is looking like it's going to cause trouble. It's just a matter of when. Here, actually, I was on the daily, not the weekly. It's just a matter of when. So here, looking at it from the weekly, clearly, there's really no reason from a TA perspective not to think that's not going to get to 121 in time. In time. This is a weekly chart, so it could take a very long time. And then the other piece that I did want to kind of cover as far as a possible headwind, I don't know, we'll see what happens, is this piece right here with FTT. Dylan Leclerc had some really good tweets about it, and there was a lot of people that replied back. But basically, we could have some trouble looming for Mr. Sam. So we'll see what happens. But this is something to definitely keep your eye on. I mean, if what they're stating is true, and again, like he did disclose the fact that we don't know their liabilities. What are the liabilities based out of? But this could be very tough for the market if it turns out that basically SBF was just kind of basically creating something out of nothing. So I'm a bit concerned about this. I think we all should be a bit concerned about this. But hopefully there's a little bit more to the story that gives them a little bit more backing. So we'll have to keep an eye on this story because it could be huge. It could definitely pose a lot of problems. And it's the last thing we need, right? As far as with regulation and all these politicians like Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren that are anti-crypto. So just something to keep an eye on. So as far as the next week, like I said, I'm expecting bullishness and then maybe some bearishness with the hot CPI report, but BTC is fine. I mean, it did a really good job of staying above this level right here. It's really 20. I have it listed here 20,000, but I have like 3 different charts. The more accurate ones probably like 19,900. But as long as it stays over that level, we're fine. We're fine, and we should be trending back up over here to about 22K is my guess. So that is kind of like where I see things. And then maybe after that, 22.8. And if we can get over 22.8, then the big level of resistance will be 25,045, and it will be a huge level of resistance. I'll actually be surprised if it gets through it, especially in the first try. I think that will just present a really nice opportunity to short if we get that high. Who knows if we even get that high? First things first, let's see if we can get over this next level, hold there, and then cross over 22.8. So 22.8 I think is also going to be a pesky one, and it could take a while. But with the hot CPI report coming in, yeah, maybe in the first 3 days we get past that, and then 22.8 is as far as it goes. I'll be all sorts of shocked if we get to 25K anytime soon. And those are 2 tough levels of resistance. So Ethereum does look a little better than Bitcoin as far as structurally, but at the end of the day, it's just gonna basically lately it's just been doing what BTC does. So not a whole lot there. Doge is really hurting. I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently they're going to pump the brakes on. Elon and Twitter is on that kind of like Blue Alliance wallet integration initiative with Mask and with CC from Binance. So ever since that news came out, that really hurt Doge, and it hurt Mask even more. I mean, Mask was just going all sorts of nuts. That's on the 2-hour. It was going crazy, as you can see here. I mean, look at it. I mean, this is just some wild action. After doing nothing for months, it went on that huge run. Did about what, a 5x, I think it was, almost a 6x. Wow. So, but then once the news came out there, I mean, yep, there you see it with that big old red candle there. So we'll see what happens with Mask, but as long as that it turns out that they pumped up the brakes, and this is an asset that almost 6x, you had to expect some retrace. I expect more retrace, but it seems to be doing okay in the last 24 hours, which is a little surprising. If we look at the 4-hour, let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's still not looking great. I did notice that it's been doing a few things. It's kind of been right here in the 4-hour. You see right here, it kind of stops there every single time. And then now it's starting to form maybe kind of lower lows here. So, but I did notice it seems to top off there, right? So we can kind of just draw a little vertical line right there. It seems to do it almost every time where it won't close above that mark. So if you see it up there and it's about to get up there again, it could present an easy scalp short, as long as it doesn't cross it. If it, but you got to be careful because it looks like every single time, even though it closed never higher than there, it did wick up every time. So really just monitor the 4-hour close. And if it closes below the line that we put there at $4.90, then that should present a pretty easy scalp to get maybe even up to, here, let's see, maybe up to, wow, that's a very nice scalp, like a 10% scalp. Wow. So yeah, and if I do it on Bitget, say I use 5x leverage, a 10% scalp is very nice. Wow. So yeah, so just something to consider there. But again, I'm just letting you guys know how I'm playing the markets. We had talked about immutable X. They had that huge token release. It didn't really do much for the price action while it was happening. So I woke up this morning to kind of see the action. It actually did pretty well. I had predicted that we would see sometime right before the lock, the tokens were unlocked. I predicted that it would have some kind of short squeeze, and this is it. It happened the day before. And look at that short squeeze. In the matter of just 2 hours, it went from, or I guess a little bit over 2 hours, it went from 61 cents all the way up to 66 cents. So it did a very nice little, in just 2 hours, almost a 10% jump. And that was the short squeeze I was looking for. Looks like maybe we had another one right there. And now it's, this actually, I should have kept my eye on it. When it wicked like this up here and then in the next couple candles started going lower and lower. This was an easy spot to short. Wish I would have seen that, but I wasn't paying attention to this chart at the time. So yeah, immutable X. We'll see what happens there, but it's not really something I'm interested in holding or anything like that. I was just interested in how the play went with the token unlock. So Luna Classic has done very well actually. What we saw here, this huge run up. Someone that had a $5 million short position got out of it. And so that created this crazy price action. A $5 million short. He had been, from what I understand, he had been shorting it all the way up from like, I think 31,000, no, more than 31,000, somewhere up here in like the high 30,000. So I think it was up here somewhere around here. So maybe like 36,000. So they did very, very well with their $5 million short. Who knows what kind of leverage they used. But yeah, someone made life-changing money with that for sure. And that's just incredible. So that created that huge candle, and now it's just doing pretty well. So I'm not really in a position where I'm looking to short all the time. If I'm looking to short, it's not going to be like for fundamental value reasons. It's going to be mostly to kind of scalp, because I think that it went, kind of like what I showed with Mask, where it's just like a situation that presents itself, and I think that there's an edge. But I'm not looking to like short everything all the time anymore, because things are changing. We're starting to notice that things are starting to switch, and it is a time to kind of start thinking about more longs versus shorts. It really feels that way. Hopefully that will last, but time will tell. And Elrond, they just finished their conference today. Apparently they're kind of rebranding to kind of like a more like a metaverse, multiverse kind of name and branding and all that. And judging from the price action, ever since they made that announcement, it wasn't received all that well. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it didn't work out very well for Meta, right? And that's what Elrond is doing. So we'll see how that materializes for them. But yeah, that was interesting that, usually right after the conference, they have like one more jump. The token does pretty well, but no, it's already starting to sell off pretty well. So I think this will be a good one to short if you're looking to short some cryptos. But a lot of cryptos actually look pretty well, and are showing some really nice signs. And that's kind of like what I was getting at a second ago. One of them is TRB. I don't even know what these guys do, but a lot of alts kind of look like this one, where it's way, 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 way off from all-time highs, right? So it's at a very nice value spot. It looks like its all-time high was somewhere around 164. And it looks like it's, starting to create a nice little bottoming structure. And even like on the daily, for example, for the first time in quite a while, in many months, it's actually showing some positive momentum, and it's building despite the fact that it's down considerably for the day. I actually have an open position here with TRB that I opened yesterday, and I'm down on it a little bit. Nothing huge, but I'm down like 3%, or maybe less than 3%. But I'm gonna hold this one for a bit, or at least till the CPI print, because I think that this one's looking pretty good. And I know this is gonna sound weird, but just hear me out. There's another asset called Band, and Band has gone absolutely nuts. Look at that in the last few days, and it looks like it's really starting to give it all back. But anyways, Band has a weird relationship with TRB, where after Band does a crazy run up, TRB tends to follow historically. Don't ask me why, but I caught wind of this, yeah, so that's something pretty interesting to see. So I don't know why that happens. Maybe it's just rotational, where the money goes from Band to TRB. The money from Band's starting to go bye-bye, so maybe it's going to go to TRB soon. We'll see. So just something to keep an eye on. Let's see. It'll be fun to monitor this and see if it's true. So yeah, so that's kind of like how TRB got on my line of sight, because it's not really an asset that I know anything about. It was because this whole weird relationship with Band, and then I started looking at the chart and thought, wow, that actually looks really good. So yeah, so let's see what happens with TRB. I'll definitely give you an update next week, because that's like a long position that I have on leverage with Bitget right now. And we already talked about Mask. So yeah, Mask really got hurt by that news. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, this asset is just, I kind of got burned on this run up. I shorted it up here thinking, well, here, I'll show you. I shorted it when it was like around 250, thinking that was it. It was going to give it back. And then it just went on a huge run after that. I shorted it, yeah, somewhere around here, 250. And so I got burned on that one. So I lost on that short. But I've shorted it like 8 times or 7 times by now. So um, it's just been one that I've been in and out of a lot. But that really got me good on that one, unfortunately. And I guess that's about it. As far as what's the weekend, the Bitcoin CME futures closed at 21,235. So keep that in mind, because come Sunday evening, we will most likely be somewhere around that number. So where's BTC right now? It's about 300 points above it, 315. Yeah, I mean, it's about 80 points above it. It's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. So it's less than 0.5% move, but just something to keep an eye on. If you see Bitcoin drop a lot in the next few hours or tonight, or Bitcoin go on a major run, just know it's gonna go back to that 21,235 number. So just something to keep in mind. And that's really about it. Didn't have anything else to cover specifically this week. And yeah, I'm trying to keep these videos under 20 minutes. So I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care.